Majority of you have sustained wrong belief system which are perpetually frustrating your efforts. You wonder why, even though you work so hard, even if you put in tremendous amount of work, you do not seem to see the corresponding results in your own life. It is because this wrong belief system are perpetually sabotaging your efforts. And I'm going to show you how. The moment you hear there's some giveaway, the moment you hear people say the 10 brightest people in X criteria or based on this criteria, the 10 brightest people would go on to work here, the 10 brightest people would be rewarded in some way. Immediately you defer, you say, this is not for me. I do not believe that I'm going to make it to the top 10. Immediately you, or if there's some kind of promotion, say, just apply, it will be picked at random. The chances of you being picked at random is an inconception to you. You can't believe that that kind of thing would happen for you. I'm not trying to advocate for hoping on luck as opposed to hard work. But what I'm saying is majority of you have sustained a wrong belief system that you're a second class citizen and you do not amount to nothing. You are meant to stick to menial jobs and go through casual labor because that is what your parents are doing. Most of you have sustained the belief system that you are cursed and you do not believe that if no matter how much effort you put towards life, that it would not yield the corresponding results. And if you believe that, you're right. I heard of a story one time, I believe it's fiction, in a bit to illustrate a point. Two travelers on their way to a new terrain. The first traveler arrives and about to explore this new territory. He sees a farmer by the side tilling the ground. He asked him a question. Excuse me, I heard this land is bad. I heard it's filled with looters and thieves. People who just want to finesse your money. The people are very harsh. The economy is in a downturn, is rapidly declining. Is this true? The farmer raised up his head and responded, you are right. He went his way. A few minutes later, the second traveler arrived and about to enter the territory like the first guy, he asked him a question. I heard this country is filled with milk and honey. The economy is thriving so much. The people are very welcoming. There's no cases of armed robbery, etc., etc., etc. And he goes on and on to list the contrast of everything the first guy said. The farmer raised up his head and gave him the same response. You are right. So whatever you say, whatever you believe, you are right. It's the belief in things that gives it power. So what is the difference between the idol in a shrine and that artifact in your living room? It's the belief that you give it, it's the frequency that you put on that said thing. The moment you start bowing down to that artifact in your living room, you come back home one day and you realize that that artifact has been displaced from its usual position, even though you live alone. It's only a matter of time before it starts speaking to you, start giving you instruction, because another being has dwelled inside that material statue. So when you give ideas credence, ideas that are not advantageous to your human existence, when you believe in heinous concepts like depression, that you cannot cure it, the only way to cure depression is by taking pharmaceutical drugs. I do not believe depression exists. I believe you can feel depressed, but the idea that you catch depression from a sky is a fallacy to me. Your life is depressing. Guess what? If I was living in the same reality as you, I'll be depressed. I'll be depressed if I was you. You who's watching this, I believe you're smart enough now to infer the real problem, the underlying cause of your depression. Is not the depression itself, is the symptoms you have to attack, or is the diagnosis in general that you have to attack. You're trying to solve a permanent problem with a temporary solution, which is a fallacy. When a doctor, or when very rarely when you go to a doctor, she's asking you questions. How do you feel? How do you feel? And you're giving her symptoms of your disease. She doesn't attack the symptom directly. What she's doing is cumulating those symptoms in order to ascribe it to a disease, then further attack that diagnosis directly. As opposed to when you say, "Oh, I have headache," she offers you paracetamol. "Oh, I feel X infection," she offers. No, she's not treating the symptoms individually. That knowledge, that body of knowledge, is only a system to ascertain the real cause of the underlying problem. So if you're fat, if you're lazy, if you're sick, if you feel lethargic always, the problem is not to ascribe yourself as a depressed person. The problem is not to try to attack those symptoms or try to cure lethargicness with energy drink, try to cure sleepless nights with pharmaceuticals. The problem is to ascertain why you feel those way. Why do I feel depressed? Oh, I do not have an identity. I wake up feeling like shit. I don't have a purpose. I do not have something to wake up to. That's why most people plunge towards hedonism and constantly chasing happiness. But if you keep chasing a high, eventually that high turns to a low, and you're going to move on to the next thing, and the next thing is an infinite loop of a spiral to degeneracy. That is not profitable for you. Think about the moments where you were most happiest in your life. The moment you were most happiest in your life was the time when you looked forward to something. It could be something as stupid as you had a girlfriend and you always look forward to sending out that good night text like a moron that you are. You always look forward to sending out, "Oh, have you eaten lunch? Have you had this? Have you had that?" That was why you woke up. So you have ambition, you have purpose, you have identity. That drive and motivation to chase something is inside you. You're only using it the wrong way. Now, take all of that motivation, take all of that heartbreak. That's why your girl is always one step out of the door, because you've made her your entire worldview, your entire life surrounds around that one lady. And women are not built to receive that kind of maximum attention. You, in subsequent videos, I'll be teaching you how to leverage the or how to leverage detachment in any relationship. So that's why you do not want her to leave. Not necessarily because you love the girl or she's amazing. She could be ugly as hell. She could be disgustingly dirty. Yet you won't leave her. Why? Because she's the only thing that's in your life that is actually interesting. And you do not want to lose that fire in your life. So, gentlemen, take those motivation, take all that passion, decide what you want to become. Oh, I don't know what I want to become. That's good. You do not know what you want to become, but there's certainly someone positive in your life that you admire. Try to embody that quality. Start from there. Start learning new things. Start self-analyzing yourself. Psychoanalyze yourself. At the end of each day, ask yourself questions. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do this in this way as opposed to that way? Why did someone calling me fat annoy me? Can I change it? Can I have a direct influence on all these facets of my life? When you start thinking that way and becoming more conscious of yourself, most people just saunter through life hoping it blows them to a happy place, sad place, perhaps neutral place. But if you run your life on autopilot, you will never amount to anything of actual admiration. As men, we've evolved to become people who seek respect from other people. That's all we desire. You think you want money, but you do not want money. You want respect from your pet. Having money gives you that to a degree. Money is not everything, but money is significant in your human experience. Money can give you experience that connotes to happiness, but happiness should not be what you should be chasing. As a man, you should be chasing purpose and identity and fulfillment. And when you chase that, inevitably happiness follows. If you chase number two, you never get number one. If you chase number one, you get one and two. So your mindset is critical in everything you do. Think about it this way. Imagine for a moment that I was driving a car and perhaps due to my level of incompetence, I hit a ditch. The police does not arrest the car. The police arrest me, the driver. Regardless of what car you give me, it could be a Ford Mustang, a Ferrari, a Bugatti, whatever. I will still reproduce the same result. You see, the problem is not the car, the problem is the driver. That driver is your mindset. When you want to change men, what do you really change? So why have you been focusing on changing that Gucci shirt? Why have you been focusing on acquiring jewelries? Why have you been focusing on blaming people? Oh, she didn't accept me because I was filthy. Of course, that can play a role, needless to say. How you look and personal hygiene is important, which we'll talk about some subsequently. However, that is not the only key to the equation. Your mindset plays a very important role. Why do you think the wife sleeps with the gardener? A gardener is the lowest job you can ever conceive. Not the lowest job, but relatively speaking. If the gardener sustained the mindset as you who's watching this video, would he be able to pull it off? Someone actually knows you're a gardener. You don't have to be that attractive. You don't have to embody certain mannerisms. Is your mindset. Do you believe? It's funny how your belief of certain things aligns themselves to create a worldview that's consistent with your level of transformation. Your life is just a mirror. Your life reflects the level of your understanding. To correct something in that mirror, you do not put your hand in the mirror. You correct it here and the mirror corrects itself. Therein, you see that your approach to growth has largely been wrong. You're trying to focus and change externalities, which is a fallacy. That is what you've been told by the mainstream media in order to stimulate the economy. Your mindset is important. Change your mindset, you change your life. As always,